Hello and welcome to the Animal Enrichment Workshop. Today I'm going to be showing you with a little bit of effort just how easy it can be to build your own natural parrot toys at home and spending a lot less money than you would purchasing them at pet shops. So let's get into it. Alright, so starting us off we need the actual chain, and this is really the only piece that we need for our bird toy. Now, once I've snipped off one of these ends, I leave the other end intact to act as a stopper for all of the things I'm going to string along it. Now, I've got a piece of wood here. This is just a couple of ideas of items that you can use. The wood is excellent because you can buy it from a hardware store, chop it into different size pieces for what you want, and then as long as you're drilling holes that are big enough for the chain to go through, then you're pretty set. And then with the wood, just sanding off the edges. Now, I'm also going to be using coconut husk. I've got gum nuts coming up as well. You can use a whole range of whatever you can think of, sticks, pieces of bark, and just making sure that they're clean and tidy, so that they're not going to have any sharp edges or anything like that to hurt your animals. And then just drilling a hole that's big enough for the chain to slip all the way through so you can string them along. Now, these gum nuts were collected, from my local area, and whatever you've got, use it. Alrighty, and here we are back with the finished chain. So all we did really was take off that end piece there, and that just allows us to string on whatever we want for our birds to interact with. So I've got a range of natural products here. You can use really whatever your mind goes to, whatever you want to do, as long as you think it's safe and you're happy to use it with your animals, then that's fantastic. So for me, I've got some raffia twine. Stuff I've purchased includes the raffia twine. I've got some cocoa fiber rope here, and then some paper string as well. So this is just paper twisted up. Then stuff that I've made myself kind of thing. Well, I've got these little wooden blocks. So I'm just using ones that haven't been colored. As with most bird toys, you can see that they're often colored up when you purchase them from pet stores and that kind of stuff. But otherwise, I've just gone to the hardware store, purchased I think it was 1.2 meters worth for $5. So crazy low price. And then I've got a huge amount of wood to go from there. So I've cut them up into sort of like bigger chunks and then thinner chunks as well. So more of like a gnawing, and this one will probably be snapped quite easily. Now, I've also got some wood rounds that I've, sort of taken from another project that I did. I got some extra little wood rounds there left over. I've got some little coconut wood rounds, some cardboard, which is really good, I find, for parrots to tear up. And then we've got some gum nuts that I've collected, some coconut husk, and some loofah that I've grown as well to be able to add to my, my wood toy here. So, I'm going to start out with just a large wood chunk at the bottom. Now, other stuff you can use is like, leaves or flowers. Like I've got hibiscus flowers growing at my house, so they'd be excellent and safe for bird species. And I've got this was like a choker style chain that I've purchased from a hardware store with this thinner gauge chain. You can get some really large gauge chain as well if you're working with like macaws, large cockatoos and stuff like that. But stainless steel is the way to go, rather than anything that's been like, galvanized or dipped in, zinc plated and stuff like that. So whatever you want to do, just go with it, make it fun. If you're wanting to color up your wood, like some places do, as I mentioned, there are some recipes and stuff online that I've seen. It looks really cool, it looks really nice and vibrant, but it does take a bit more work, a bit more expensive if you're using sort of dyes that are going to work best. I've heard you can use beetroot and sort of natural dyes on wood, but it can potentially go moldy and it can make it tasty, so the birds potentially want to ingest it, which is obviously not ideal there. So I'm just using natural wood because I think that'll work best. Now, working through, do whatever you want. Some of them, like the holes aren't big enough on some of these that I've made, but you can string it along as long as you've got the right size hole. You can string along what you want. I think that's just gonna make it, I've made some pre-drilled holes in my gum nuts as well, but then the raffia twine can be used to tie on stuff along the line as well. So tying on stuff like this, same with the cocoa fiber and the paper there. So I'll just do a bit of everything. I'll show you how it turns out, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I've started to string along a couple of my little things going along here, so already starting to look great, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm excited as to how it's going to turn out with the birds. Now, with these, I can't stress enough, just try and make the effort if you're keen. These are going to work out so much cheaper. It's basically like baking at home. Like you can buy a pizza from the shops and it's going to be however much. I'm just going to cut my loofah into little rounds like this. But otherwise, if you go out and buy all of this stuff, like I've spent about $5 on the wood. I think these were about, yeah, $7, $10, stuff like that. Initial outlay, yes, it's probably going to be, yeah, a bit more expensive than going out and buying a couple of toys. The chain itself, I think, was only about $3, and it can get up to about, I saw $13 for, yeah, quite a long length of the large chain, so that's really good. But otherwise, once you've got all the ingredients, it's too easy to just keep going. That'll get chewed away and played with, and then I've got the chain already ready to go and just to refill it. So I've spent a bit of time this afternoon, and I've collected the gum nuts and drilled holes in a lot of them. I've done my wood pieces, drilling and sanding them. So I've outlaid a bit of time, but otherwise I've got a huge catalogue ready to go for next time. So you set yourself up to start with, and it takes a bit of time, but it saves a lot of money in the long run, and it's super fun. I really enjoy it. It's very fulfilling to make your own toys. I think it's, one, therapeutic, doing what I'm doing right now and having a bit of fun with that. I'm going to create like a little braided knotted bit coming off here with the paper. It's therapeutic. You get a real sense of achievement and sense of ownership with it as well. Like when it's done, I think it's going to be far more fulfilling to give it to the bird and watch them interact with it, with something that you've created, if you go out and do it yourself, rather than just purchasing it from the shop. Now, that is something that you can do, and a lot of people, they don't have the time or the time in their day, money and stuff like that to go and do this kind of stuff. It does work out cheaper than just purchasing them though. But if you have got the time and you create little, 5 minutes a day or something like that, just to get some wood rounds or tie little knots in your coconut fiber and stuff like that, it really makes big waves. The ripples turn into big waves as you keep going with it. So yeah, I've got everything organized and ready to go in little bags. You couldn't put them in containers and stuff like that. When you've got a heap of wood rounds, just go cut wood rounds one afternoon. Once you've grown your loofahs, cardboard, very easy to do and very fun for your birds, as long as you've got nice, safe uncolored cardboard and stuff like that. But look at that, it's already turning out fantastic. It looks awesome. There's a lot of fun natural stuff to play with rather than all of your plastics and often like rope and stuff like that. If you're using, I think, sisal or the twine rope, that's better than using cotton and that kind of thing. That's a big no-no when you're working with parrots. But otherwise, it's already turning out awesome. I'm loving the look of it. If it gets destroyed straight away, it's not going to matter. If you go to the shops and buy something, give it to your birds, it's fun getting destroyed with the birds, but it's a big outlay of money, and then it's often over. If you're happy to do that, that's cool, but this just works out so much better, and you're creating something that is just as good, if not better, for a lot less, and you can keep going with that and give your birds more because you've got all the stuff ready to go. Now, I think I've used one of everything. Just going to finish it off with a bit of raffia, a little sort of bundle tied to there, and then I'll explain how we put on the finishing touches to be able to attach it to an aviary. Cool, all right, perfect. With all that done and ready to go into the aviary, once you have finished and you've got your little metal end there, I've gone and purchased some key rings, or little rings that you'd put on your keys. So I'm going to put that on the end as a bit of a stopper on one end, and then once I've done that, I'm going to attach a quick link. So I've just got that in, which is what you would have seen on a lot of other bird toys, and it's just this little ring that screws up and screws down and opens and closes like that. So hooking that on, and then that is going to hook onto the top of your aviary, and then you tighten it up and your bird toy's ready to go. So if you've got bolt cutters, obviously you can cut shorter lengths and have a couple, or if you want to go buy a longer length of chain, you can get long ones, short ones, do whatever. As long as you observe it potentially the first couple of times, make sure that it is observed enrichment and there's no things that are going to stuff around with your animal and potentially harm them, then you've got some perfect natural handmade parrot toys that you can just keep rolling with, and I absolutely love it. All right, looking at our finished product, a lot of the time it is quite easy to go to a pet store or something like that, take something off the shelf. It's expensive, but you want to do right by your animals, you go and pay, you give it to them. In this case, it can work out so much cheaper, so much better for the animals, really awesome natural products that you're using. A lot of the time, you're probably a lot more capable than you think you are. If you're looking for ideas and you're following through, perfect. But if you're thinking, oh nah, it's probably a bit too hard, it really isn't. And once you get this chain and then all of your little ducks in a row with all of your extra little resources, you're absolutely laughing, and it's too easy to just keep going with that. So make the effort. Try and surprise yourself if you're, not too crafty. A very easy one to do. A lot of people have got parrots and birds at home, and so this is something to just keep them entertained and, just run with it. So thank you very much for watching. As always, much appreciated. Happy enriching, and until next time, goodbye.